Hi. So I was watching an Alex Avila video, the one about Did the Sims Make You Gay? And so it got me thinking about queerness and queerness as how it doesn't really exist you can, unless it's differentiated and distinguished. And so if we lived in a society where queerness was totally normal and accepted, then it wouldn't queerness, you wouldn't have queerness as an identity if no one, yeah. Anyway, you get the point. And so I was thinking about queerness in number six, because number six, hyperfixation, and how, I don't have any conclusion. Gonna get that out of the way. I don't know what my final thoughts will be, but I was just thinking about the different examples of queerness throughout the story. So first of all, I was thinking about in the second chapter of Volume 1, it mentions how anyone is allowed to get married to anyone else for any reason, as long as you're both consenting adults. But it doesn't state anything about queer people. It doesn't state anything about gender. Only class structure and age. And in the specific thing it's referencing in that chapter is to do with how old people are. People of any age can get married at any time. And I'm speaking now and realizing it wasn't chapter 2, it was chapter 3. Sorry about that. So yeah, I was wondering, can gay people get married in the world of number 6? And I guess especially inside the city. And then the next example is in Volume 2, Chapter 2, when the prostitute is trying to get Shion as a customer. She has a line where she goes, this one's not interested in women, or something like that. So the characters do have a concept of sexual preference, but at least from what we can tell, heterosexuality is still the norm. Even in so much canon media, even up to the point of A Day Before the Hunt, you see, Nezumi and Shion talking about girls, and, the way heterosexuality is assumed as the norm, even after we, the audience, know that the characters aren't straight. And then next is, I was thinking about Inukashi and gender identity, because Inukashi's AFAB presents in a very much more masculine way, and they dress in a very androgynous way, and their gender is intentionally left very ambiguous. And so, but it makes sense that they would be non-binary or maybe transmasc, but from what, no one thinks about their gender at all. Their gender is never a topic of discussion. No, maybe because I read a translation, so maybe I would have a little bit more context if I read it in Japanese. But I feel like Inukashi not being a boy or a girl is completely normal. No one thinks about it. Or at least Chion thinks of Inukashi as a boy in the beginning, but then in Volume 4, they realize, oh, Inukashi's AFAB. But they don't really seem, that doesn't change their perception of them at all, at least from what I can tell. It's still, Inukashi's just Inukashi the entire time. And so I found that interesting of, yes, they're definitely non-binary, and from what you can tell, the society they live in seems very gender binary and heteronormative, but no one questions the fact that Inukashi isn't a boy or a girl, and no one, it's very heteronormative and gender binary, but it's not unaccepting of queer people, but they're still not the norm. It's still, but then anyway, another thing I was thinking about is they don't really seem to have any form of queer identity. It's not, oh, this one's gay, it's, oh, this one doesn't like women. And obviously that could just be a thing with the way it was written, especially seeing as it's a children's book series from the early 2000s. But like, something I thought about is, in the real world, we very much have these things that are associated with queer culture, and they're also associated a lot with internet culture, but like the way people present themselves as in a queer way, dyeing your hair, doing musical theatre, that kind of stuff. And like, it's not necessarily that it's not there, but we have no way of knowing within the world in number 6, whether it's in the city or in the West Block, if they really seem to have any kind of queer culture. Queer people aren't distinguished from cishet people, and so they don't exist. They're just people, which is, I mean, a good thing, because queer people are people, but you should probably just go watch the Alex Avila video. I'm getting all my ideas from him, but I just found it interesting the way this applies to number 6, because it's a series that I began reading in the first place because I knew that it wasn't about queer people, but had canonically and textually queer characters. And so I was thinking about it, like, yeah, boys kiss, and Inukashi isn't a boy and a girl, and like, there are definitely non-cishet people, but there aren't queer people. But